Hello, everybody. This is Marshall and my lovely husband.
Yep, that's me.
What's your name?
Why I got to tell him my name? We got to go through this again.
This might be some new people.
Hello, everybody.
We got to go through this every single time.
Yep. You don't need to know my name.
Yes,
I'm your husband.
This is my husband, Vito.
Vito.
We just can't do this.
Why we just can't do this like what?
Like normal people.
We are normal people. We are normal. We're doing exactly what we're doing. We're fine.
Okay.
We're great.
Thank you for watching, and for those who are new, welcome to my channel, and also welcome to the process.
Welcome, 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 and welcome.
Today we're going to be talking about another series of Let's Talk About Sex, and for whatever strange reason, we just can't get off this subject.
Are we talking about sex?
Yeah.
I thought we did it. Oh, the consequences of it. Oh, okay. The consequences of what?
Not having sex. I mean, having sex before marriage.
Okay, the consequences of having sex before you get married while you're going through your courtship process. Right?
Right.
And then if you slip, dip, and fall, walking for the cool, baby, put on the caboose. Hey!
If you would like to know more about the consequences of
everybody want
having sex
you
before marriage,
it's not a good thing.
Please stay tuned at your own risk.
Please, children, at the door.
We'll be back. Anyway, the first two segments in regards to sex we've been talking about. The first one was actually how to avoid sex in an intimate relationship. And for those who have not checked that video out, please check the link above me and go and check that out. And also in part 2, we actually talked about our first time having sex and what
after marriage, y'all.
Right.
After marriage.
And our honeymoon.
Yes.
So if you haven't checked that video out, please check that out as well.
I was the bomb. That's all I got to say.
Whatever. And I'll also leave links in the description box.
You trying to say I wasn't the bomb?
We don't want to discuss all that in front of them, do we?
Come on. Give me some credit.
I will put the link down in below so that you can check out all the videos in the process. All right. So today we're going to be talking about the consequences of actually having sex prior to marriage and why we believe that God has told us to wait and not engage in sexual activities prior to saying I do. Okay.
When you have sexual intercourse with this individual who you have not married, you have not made a commitment, you have not made your vows yet, what it does, it connects both of you, all right, in the flesh. And what that does, it really impairs your judgment now. Because when two people have intercourse, it's something that takes over their body. Does that make sense? Their mindset as well. It's a feel-good thing too as well. Okay? So now you got, if that person, or let's just take for instance from a male perspective, and that young lady, you know, she don't see the areas of that male. She don't see those weak areas, those major weak areas. You know, like, you know, he has a bad temper. I'm talking to you, but at the same time, you know, I'm kind of looking at you because I love looking at your pretty face. You know, while we're talking. Point 10, baby. So from a male perspective, you know, she may not see those little bitty things that she will not be paying attention to because they have connected themselves intimately in the flesh. So later on in the marriage, those things are going to start coming out. When in actuality, those things are already present while you're courting. But because you have gotten intimate, you're not focusing on those things now. Because remember, when you have sex, both of you are going to feel good. And now you are focusing, the energy has turned away from the more important things like the character, the integrity part. Is he a patient person? Even if he's not stable on the job, does he have a passion and desire to work? You know, is he getting out every day looking for a job? Is he, you know, doing what he needs to do? Or is he one of those who are just plain lazy? You know, these warning signs are there. But a lot of times when you get intimate with that individual, a lot of times you're not going to see those warning signs. A lot of times those warning signs are not going to be, you know, to you as being a warning. Now, that's my personal belief. But there are other areas too as well. But I'm going to give my better half opportunity to go ahead and take it and close it on that. Go ahead and close it out, baby. My better half.
And in order for you to hear God clearly, you have to remove the sin out of your way so that you can have the clarity of what God is saying. When you enter sex, which is sin, before marriage, I still believe that. I'm old school. Call it what you want to. The world says otherwise. God says no. So we believe in no. There's a reason for that. God continues to want to speak to you, commune with you, fellowship with you. And when you allow sex to come in, when you're having sex, you become one. So now you're becoming one person out of marriage, which is out of order. I've seen people say they're going to get married. I've seen people give the ring, engage, and they never follow through. But because of the intention, they went on and had sex and thought it was okay. So now with this intention, well, our intentions, you know, are to get married, so it should be okay. And then you never make it to the altar. You come to find out, you know, he's a cheater or she's a cheater or she's not the one or he's not the one. And now you've given yourself to somebody who never belonged to you. So until you know for sure that this is the one that God has for me, and you actually go through with the entire, it doesn't have to be a ceremony, but the entire process of getting married, you're off limits.
It saves a whole lot of heartache.
Yes, because now your emotions are involved. You've given your body to someone that doesn't belong to you. Now you have to suffer some of the consequences of either getting pregnant out of wedlock, diseases, STDs, emotional heartbreak and emotionally scarred. And there's so much mentally, emotionally, physically that comes along with the engaging in sex prior to. And God doesn't want his children to have to suffer or go through consequences because he's smarter than us. It's a reason, and it's a darn good one, why he tells us not to do it, to wait. It's okay. And then we talked about in the last video how when we waited, the peace of God that comes with it, that God was actually glorified in our honeymoon. And the day that we had sex, there was no guilt. There was no condemnation. There was no conviction, no nothing. And that's the glory of God that God wants for his children. He doesn't want the heartache and the pain and the consequences and the suffering and going through. He doesn't. So that's why he say don't do it. And that's why I didn't do it. That's exactly why, because I wanted to make sure that the person that I was with was worth me giving myself to them wholeheartedly, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Because it's not just a physical thing. You're giving this person your everything.
Emotions,
everything with no commitment.
Like,
really? You're giving your everything to a maybe, could be,
might be.
No, absolutely not. It's not worth it. I was engaged twice. Twice, y'all. I was engaged 2 times. And this is prior to me giving my heart to Christ. So I knew of God, grew up in church, in the building, and thought I had a relationship with God. Did not. I felt like if I went, then I was okay. but I didn't. Wasn't even close. Engaged twice. And I gave my everything to both of them. And they were not my husband. And and I believe that's another reason why I had to wait 10 years. There was a whole bunch of cleansing that had to take place before God sent my husband. I had given these men my everything before, and again, we were engaged. We were supposed to get married. Twice that happened to me. And they were not my husband. Never followed through. We never made it to the altar, but yet I was given my all. I was being
You was having sex?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. And we was gonna get married, so it's gotta be okay. It's not okay. Yeah. It's never okay, because God always knows something that you don't know.
I like to say, if I could, just kind of give a little bit about, my first marriage before. Well, her and I, we were dating for 3 months, but, we started having sex maybe like a week or two after we started dating. All right. So even with that, I felt, in my heart at that time, I was just basically, hey man, I wanted some sex. This is the bottom line, honest truth. Wanted some sex, got hooked up with her, and wasn't even thinking about whether or not this is God or not. I didn't want to hear none of that anyway. Okay. Did I know about it? Yes, I did. But did I have a understanding at that time the way I have an understanding of it now? No, I didn't. Okay. But I just felt something wasn't clicking in that area, but I still participated in the sexual intimacy part. All right. Got married. Okay. After we got married, we was having sex like crazy. And we both, were going through our stages in our life where we needed some healing, major healing in our lives. And after we got married, everything started coming out. But I truly believe because we were having sex, that blocked a lot of things from us really seeing the major issues that we don't need to be doing this, and we don't need to be together.
The truth.
The truth.
It blinds you of the truth.
It blinds you. It really does. Sin will blind you from seeing the truth.
And that started in the garden.
Yeah.
And Eve.
Yeah. And the crazy part about it, even though you in the sin, it can blind you from the truth, but the truth is so powerful. The truth still can navigate through it and say, hey, I'm still here.
And you have to make a choice.
You have to make that choice whether or not you want to listen to the truth.
Because even in my sin, when I was having
still
sex,
continue to participate in that sin.
The truth came out. Right. And I had to make a choice. Marshall, is this the life you want?
Right.
Or let it go, because my way obviously wasn't working.
Right.
So yeah, you're absolutely right. Even though it's sin, truth will find its way.
What happens when two people come together and they get intimate with each other, far as them pleasing one another? And bam, there you go. Now you are one in the flesh now. What does that do in your memory bank throughout the day? You continue That's all you think about. When she made you feel a certain way, you think about that. If he made you feel a certain way, you think about that. Think about that now. So that keeps you continuously focusing on the sexual act. Once you continue to start focusing on the sexual act, guess what? You're not paying attention to the most important thing. It's blinding you. It's that feeling. How that person made you feel. It's that emotion.
It's the lust.
There you go. I wanted her to say it.
It's lust.
It's feeding that lust. And now it starts to grow. So now that's all you start to do is what? Now y'all on the phone all day long now. Now y'all talking all day.
And that's why so many people confuse lust with love.
Yes.
And it's totally
not.
Love will wait.
Come on now. Love will be patient.
Love will be patient.
Yes.
Love is kind.
Yes.
God tells you what love is.
Yeah.
Love never fails.
Yep.
It doesn't. So if you love me, then you will wait. If you love me, you will respect
right.
my wishes. If you love me, you will love God more than me.
Yes.
Therefore, you want to obey what God says. Right. So even with that, if someone says, I have a relationship with God, and if you believe you have a relationship with God, you have to ask yourself, do I really? And if I do, what is it based on? Mm-hmm. What's your relationship with God based upon? Is it based upon what you can get? Mm. If it's convenient, mm-hmm. you only go to Him when you need Him? Mm. Is it emotional? What type of relationship do you have? Because if you have a bona fide love and intimacy with God, and your relationship is solid, I'm not saying perfect, but you know when you're in a relationship how you want to please the person that you're with. You know when you're in a relationship, you talk to them almost all the time. Right. You share different things, your secrets and the innermost part of you. If that's your relationship with God, anything you do to displease Him should displease you, and vice versa. The person that you're with should have the same relationship in regards to making sure that they please the Father. That's how you know if this is the right person.
That's right. That's right.
You can't be all out for God, all out for Christ, and they'll have whatever. Yeah, I know God. Yeah, me.
Yeah, but come on, ain't nothing wrong with this. We can do this. You can ask God to forgive you after absolutely. We do it. That ain't God, and trust me, that ain't God who sent Him. God ain't sent Him. Trust me when I tell you. If He gonna pressure you, He can't wait. He can't be patient. Not on that. Even with the same thing, but if you think about it, wouldn't God put them on the same accord in that area?
I would believe.
I mean, so. That person, He would be like, nah, we can't do this. Nah. I mean, it'll be like a mutual.
It's like being unequally yoked.
Right. Not exactly. That's how you know whether or not God is truly sending this individual. Right. Because if this person, he's really pressuring you, or she's pressuring, because it goes both ways. Mm-hmm. That ain't God. Because God, when He hooked two people up, He's already delivered them in that same area, so they won't, go into the area.
Because remember, in our last video, we talked about how. Part one of them, when we talked about how we almost fail.
Yeah.
So, what we're saying is, when we almost fail, it's like at the same time we said, no, we can't do this, and then we gave ourselves some time away from each other.
Yeah.
So we're not saying you're perfect. Mm-mm. We're saying we didn't pressure each other.
Right.
And we did let our guard down, and we got a lot. We got a little comfortable. But at the same time, we were like, no, we can't do this. And we gave ourselves some time. That's the maturity level.
Right.
Versus, we almost there. We might as well go ahead and go through with it.
Right.
No, that would have been easy. The hard part was saying, bye-bye, baby. We got to go home.
Right. That's right.
I can't talk to you for a week. It's just certain things we had to sacrifice for our relationship because of our relationship with God.
Right.
So that's all we're saying. And a lot of people are going to look at this video like, y'all, whatever, I ain't hearing that because, God has blessed us and we had sex before, da-da-da-da. We're talking about those.
Right. Who's single now.
Your relationship with God is so real.
Yeah.
That you're not willing to compromise what everybody else are doing.
Right. Because everybody's not the same.
No.
Everybody's not the same.
If you're listening to us, God has been dealing with you about this situation. Right. If you're listening to us, and you may not be in a relationship yet, but it's coming.
Yeah. You
need to know certain things when it comes to what can happen and what pleases God, what doesn't please God, and this. I mean, and this is so easy to know if someone is just coming to you, and you guys are trying to get to know each other. And sex is always the subject, or it's always, it's always about sex. You back away, because we never talked about sex.
Never talked about
sex. I
can
say that for one thing. We never talked about it. It wasn't even an option.
I didn't know what her booty felt like. And when I kissed her, my hands never touched her booty. I never touched her breast. Never saw her naked. Period. So it was
all about getting to know each other.
That's what it was.
It wasn't about the sex. It was about.
But I do want to say this, for those of you who are in your courtship, and let's just say, for instance, you guys did slip. Okay. Well, by the grace of God, us not experiencing that point to that degree, but we know the Father too. It's just like you may know the Father. But I mean, with anything, you have to be able to repent from that, separate yourself from each other. You know, is what I'm visualizing.
And continue to ask God, is this my spouse?
Right.
Is this who you put me with?
Right.
Because I'm telling you, I pray if this man was my husband all the way to the day, all the way to
she was walking down the aisle,
I ain't lying,
coming to me, being escorted,
I was
and
God,
still praying, Lord, if this ain't you,
I was gonna walk away right there on the altar.
She gonna leave me right there on the altar.
I was waiting for a sign.
Which she would have left me, because I would have been following right behind her.
Confirmation.
I'm like, girl, you crazy? Don't let me up here. What's wrong with you? What's up?
No. Don't take it for granted. Continue to pray.
You know, just to be encouraged in that area like that, you know, you have to be able to get before God and ask God truly, you know, because God ain't going to put you in something that I don't believe that he knows that you will not be able to handle. He's not going to put no more on you than you can bear. He gives you a way of escape.
It's a choice.
You know, and it is your choice. You know, so, but yeah, it's a sticky situation now.
It is.
Sticky situation.
So that's all we're going to pretty much say that we can say about that particular subject. And again, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, listen, I do want to say this. I am so encouraged. We are so encouraged and blessed to get some of the phone calls and the emails.
Thank you so much.
And the comments that you guys have been sending us. I'm like blown away, like, oh my God, really? You want us to pray for you? So we're asking you, not only are we praying for you guys, but we're asking
please pray for us.
Pray for us as well. The enemy doesn't want us to do this.
Lord.
He doesn't want us to sit here and tell truth to a world that, you know, that love lies. Okay?
Yeah.
But for the feedback and the encouragement, that is amazing and phenomenal. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch these videos, for commenting, for liking them, for subscribing. I'm like,
we enjoy doing this. We enjoy.
Crazy.
At first, I was very skeptical, but
I was,
you know, but we enjoy sharing the things of what we done been through. And we don't feel like we are better than the next person. We know that there are so much more, many couples and married couples out there who has been through much more greater things than what we have ever experienced.
And we don't know it all.
We don't know it all. We just sharing our situation, our testimony, our process, and what we have experienced that probably, you know, could help someone else, you know, who have gone through that singleness and courting, you know, dating, and now they're married. But yeah,
and hopefully you can take some, you know, snippets of, you know, our testimony and what we're sharing to help you in your relationship or in the waiting process of God sending your Boaz or sending your you know, your wife to you. So that's the reason why we do this. So we are so grateful and thankful that you guys love it and that you're really commenting on it. We really appreciate